welcome to a new episode from our podcast Land Talks. Land Talks brought to you by the G20 Global Land Initiative. And today we have a very special guest, Fernando DeLuca. Fernando, welcome to our podcast. We are so happy to have you with us today.
Thank you so much for the invitation. It's an honor to be here and to be able to share more about my story and my business as well.
So would you please give us a little bit of introduction about yourself?
Yeah, of course. I'm Fernando DeLuca, co-founder of Ceres Seeding. I'm a Brazilian entrepreneur. We've been dealing with land degradation in Brazil since 2022. Since then, I've developed a lot of different partnerships, went to a lot of different events and programs just to speak more about the importance of new technologies and new solutions to solve this big problem.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about your journey as a young ecopreneur. Can you share your journey as a young ecopreneur? What inspired you to start working on socio-environmental impact projects? And how did that lead to your focus on land restoration?
So I've been developing those social environmental projects since 2018. It was something that I started at the university. There we had a lot of different projects, and the projects that I've related more was in social entrepreneurship programs we're developing there in different communities. So since then, I just started to do a lot of different projects, work with a bunch of different types of communities. And in 2020, when I was visiting one of those communities, it was actually a small farmers community called Serra dos Toledos in the city of Itajubá. That's the city where I studied in. When we got there, we were analyzing the possibilities of implementing different types of projects, but the biggest problem they were facing were caused by illegal fires that were harming their animals, their crops, their natural resources. At the time, we had some city hall staff members with us doing the visit, and they suggested the implementation of land restoration project, their ecological restoration project around the area, so it would help the farmers to protect their properties and farms. But Itajubá is located in a mountains area, so it's really hard to implement those projects there. And that was the first time that I actually realized the impact of land degradation in the communities that I was working with. So that was the spark to start working with this.
What a journey. So let's talk a little bit about using drones for land restoration. I know that your startup, Ceres Seeding, uses drones to scale ecological restoration. How does this technology work? And what unique advantages does it bring to land restoration efforts?
Perfect. That's such a nice question. So, not only in Brazil, but in other countries as well, we do have a lot of hard-to-reach areas that are degraded and need the implementation of ecological projects. But this make it really hard and expensive, as I mentioned. So the drone enables us actually to work with different processes in those type of areas, lowering the risks to the workers, lowering the costs related to operational,
Yes.
and being more effective. So that's the big advantage on it.
Okay, great. How about talking a little bit and deep dive in socio-environmental impact? Over the years, you have worked with diverse communities, small rural landowners. How have these experiences shaped your approach to environmental and social impact projects?
Yeah, so dealing with different types of communities, you just get a new perspective of all types of different problems. A lot of times you're dealing with your own sector or your own industry, and it's hard to look to other communities and try to understand the problems they're going through.
Of course.
So yeah, this really shaped the way I see our projects today and shaped all the values that we have today at Ceres Seeding, because you need to considerate every time the environmental and the communities and the social. We believe that the quickest way to have social impact is through environment. Just to be able to see that throughout the whole society we have such huge gaps between some communities and maybe the government or big industries, big companies. So those gaps, it's what makes us work actually. A lot of those communities needs more technology, needs new solutions, but you do need to spend a lot of time with them to understand their whole characteristics, their whole problems, and their benefits as well. I mean, every community I've known and I've met, they have something really good and really nice to share to the society, but a lot of times they are not listened. So just to hear different communities and to identify how could we be using the knowledge we know in the universities or in schools, how this could be helping the problems that are already happening.
Yeah, I think it must be priceless experiences you have gained from all of these different types of societies you have dealt with.
Yeah, of course. I mean, a lot of them just became my family, my friends,
Oh, that's
and
so
it's really
nice.
nice to come back to those communities and be welcomed by them and just to be able to share stories with them. Of course, I try to use those stories to showcase in bigger platforms what is happening with those communities. Now I'm in the land degradation scenario, but I've done a lot of different things with those communities, trying to showcase, trying to be a voice for them, because you don't need to do a lot of magic actually,
Yes,
just to be listened. That's just what they want. To have attention, they have
of
such
course.
huge problems, and most of the times they can benefit from solutions that already exist. So you don't need to invent any crazy solution.
Yes.
A lot of times it's just about building bridges and connecting.
Yes, yes, of course. So, scaling restoration in Brazil. Can we talk a little bit about this?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, Ceres Seeding, your company, aims to restore 10,000 hectares of land by 2030. What are the biggest challenges and opportunities in achieving this ambitious goal?
Yeah, so in Brazil we have more than 150 million hectares of degraded areas. So we do have a lot of demand to do it. The biggest challenges today is the lack of technologies on the sector and the lack of funding and investments. I mean, that's a market that is emerging and growing, of course. But why I use it to tell people is that construction didn't have efficiency before technology, agriculture didn't have efficiency before technology, and with the land restoration market, it's going to be the same. So if we have our engineers, our smart minds behind some good technologies to help enhance those processes that we have today and their current solutions, we believe that that's the answer to scale up restoration, and that's what we are doing. So me and my team, our expertise is developing drones and equipment. We've never worked with land restoration before opening the company,
Yeah.
but we're just trying to use something that we really know how to do it in a problem and a new problem. So I think that's perfect. The drones technology do help a lot, but we do have other gaps as well, where a lot of people that are already working with existing technologies could be benefiting as well.
Okay, great. So you are a communication person and a marketer as well. Yeah, I read a lot about you. So with your background in communication and marketing, how do you see your expertise to promote awareness and engagement in land restoration efforts?
That's such a nice question, actually. I mean, today we do need to have the support of different types of organizations, public organizations, private sector, and I believe that telling the story it's almost as important as building it. I mean, I know a lot of nice projects and I know a lot of people that are developing such nice ideas, but you need to spread the word out. So I do believe that communication is one of the biggest tool we can be using. We do have some beautiful stories behind not only my business but all the social impact business we've been meeting. Yeah, I think that should be one of the biggest tools that we should be developing. And I do believe that telling the story can be as impactful as building it. If you want to scale up your story, people need to know what you're doing. And when people discover and really understand what you're doing, it makes so much easier to develop partnerships, to get new clients, and to be helping new communities.
Great. My final question to you, Fernando, is as a co founder of a startup and at the intersection of technology and ecology, where do you see the future of land restoration heading, and what role do you hope Ceres Seeding will play in shaping it?
That's other good, really good question.
Thank
So I do believe that we need to be developing new solutions to scale up land restoration in different countries, different regions, different ecosystems. But you can only focus on technologies. I mean, if your technology doesn't work with biodiversity, it doesn't make a sense. If your technology doesn't work with the communities, it doesn't make sense as well. So I do believe that it's a balance between technology, communities, and biodiversity. I think that's the way of doing it. And I mean, with Ceres Seeding, I think our main role is just to show the importance of supporting and investment on new solutions, focus on these problems. So today we have a lot of engineers in the university I studied in that are developing such good solutions to the construction sector, to all types of sectors, energy sector. And if they were spending as much time as they are in the land restoration, we would have no problems at all in scaling up. So I do believe that we are here to show people that you can have good business, a successful business, a profitable business, and still focus on environmental impact. I think that's our role, is just to show the importance of technology based on biodiversity and communities, and how you can be a successful entrepreneur and still have your own impact in what you believe.
Okay, thank you. My very final question. I promise this is our final question. Based on your experience, what is the one universal truth about land restoration?
When you understand the impact that land degradation have on people's life, that's where everything changes, you know. So a lot of times I think it's hard for people to understand that the environmental impact that their activities are having or their own actions are having will directly impact other communities, other animals, other species. So I think the most important thing is just to understand how social and environmental can connect, and then it's just makes sense, you know, everything comes clear, and you understand that the best way is doing projects focused on both. I do believe that my strength is communication, so I use this as my biggest tool,
Yes.
but everyone can use its own strength to develop projects in this area. We do lack a lot of talent as well. So yeah, it's just understanding and finding what you're good at and
Yes.
using this to create social and environmental impact.
Thank you so much, Fernando DeLuca, for being with us today. It is such a great honor to have you. And for our listeners, allow me to thank Fernando, and please stay tuned for more new episodes from Land Talks podcast. Thank you very much and have a lovely day.